True high-value women don't beg for respect, they set powerful boundaries and effortlessly attract it through their feminine energy. Meet Serena. A radiant, ambitious woman with a heart so big it often eclipsed her own needs. Serena dreamed of a life where her voice was heard and her presence respected. But growing up in the shadow of her jealous stepsister, Camille, left scars that ran deep. Camille, threatened by Serena's light, made it her mission to dim it. Serena was constantly belittled, her achievements dismissed as luck or not a big deal. Camille's words cut deeper than she ever let on. "Why do you even try? No one cares," Camille would sneer, and Serena, desperate for peace, learned to smile through the pain. At first, Serena convinced herself she was just being the bigger person. But over time, the constant sacrifices and her silent endurance started to erode her confidence. She stopped speaking up when her ideas were ignored. She apologized when someone else interrupted her. And worst of all, she began to believe the lie that her worth was tied to how much she could give at the expense of herself. The mental anguish was relentless. Each time she compromised her needs, a voice in her head whispered, "Why aren't you enough?" The weight of people-pleasing began to suffocate her dreams. Serena felt trapped, like she was running a race where the finish line kept moving further away. But one day, something shifted. It was a quiet moment, but a powerful one. Serena was scrolling through old photos when she came across a picture of her younger self. Wide-eyed, full of life, and unashamed of her ambition. She broke down in tears. That little girl didn't deserve to be silenced. And neither did she. From that day on, Serena decided to rewrite her story. She knew that commanding respect wasn't about being loud or confrontational. It was about setting boundaries, valuing herself first, and radiating confidence from within. Radiant Rebels, today we're diving deep into how high-value women like Serena embody respect without chasing it. We'll uncover the mindset shifts, habits, and strategies that allow you to break free from people-pleasing and stand in your feminine power. This isn't about changing who you are, it's about becoming who you've always been. Stay with me, because what we're about to explore could be the key to transforming not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. If this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and join our growing community of women who are embracing their worth and commanding respect. Let's get into it. The key difference between commanding and expecting respect. Serena spent years waiting for others to recognize her worth. She thought if she just kept quiet, stayed in the background, and gave everything she had, people would respect her. But what she learned, through heartache and years of feeling overlooked, is that respect isn't something you can demand from others. It's something you command through how you show up in the world. The truth is, high-value women don't chase respect. They don't wait for it. They don't expect it to magically appear. Instead, they create an aura of respect simply by being who they are, authentically, unapologetically. It's not about making noise, it's about radiating confidence and embodying the qualities that deserve respect. Serena's breakthrough came when she realized this truth. She didn't need to scream to be heard. She didn't need to prove herself constantly. By living authentically and unapologetically, she became someone who naturally commanded respect without asking for it. And this was the moment everything changed for her. She shifted from being someone who expected respect to someone who embodied it. When you live your truth, stand firm in your boundaries, and operate with integrity, respect follows. It's magnetic. People can feel it. So, Radiant Rebels, stop waiting for permission to shine. The more you honor yourself, the more the world will do the same. How setting boundaries establishes your value. Serena's journey wasn't just about learning to speak up, it was about setting boundaries that communicated her value. For years, she tolerated people treating her as if she were always available, always willing to bend. She allowed her time and energy to be drained by the demands of others. But deep down, Serena knew that if she kept giving without taking care of herself, she'd lose everything that made her truly valuable. Boundaries aren't just lines you draw to keep people out, they're expressions of self-respect. By setting clear boundaries, you communicate to others that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious. High-value women know their limits. They're not afraid to say no when it matters most. They don't let others define their worth by how much they give or how little they ask for. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about a relationship or situation where you've been bending over backwards for others. Have you felt exhausted, drained, or maybe even resentful? That's a clear sign you haven't set boundaries that honor your worth. It's okay to say no to a last-minute request that drains you. It's okay to take a step back when you feel like you're being taken advantage of. Real-life examples, whether at work, in relationships, or in social settings, are proof that boundary setting isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about ensuring you're always seen and respected for who you truly are. When Serena finally started to set clear boundaries, whether in her personal relationships or at work, she saw a dramatic shift. People respected her more. Her energy didn't feel as depleted. And she realized that her boundaries weren't walls, they were shields that protected her most valuable asset, her own peace of mind. Creating space for your feminine energy. As you start to command respect and set your boundaries, you'll also begin to connect with your feminine energy in a way that feels effortless. When you prioritize yourself, when you say no without guilt, you tap into the strength that lies within your femininity. It's not about being rigid or unapproachable. It's about creating a space where you can thrive without compromising your worth. Remember, Radiant Rebels, feminine energy is all about grace, flow, and strength. It's magnetic because it doesn't demand it. It doesn't chase. It simply is. When you start setting boundaries, respecting your time, and living authentically, you allow that feminine energy to rise within you. And just like Serena, you'll find that the more you honor yourself, the more others will do the same. Respect will no longer be something you beg for, it'll be something you naturally command. The key takeaway here, Radiant Rebels, is that you are worthy of respect. Not because you ask for it, but because you create the space for it to flow to you through your actions, your boundaries, and the strength of your feminine energy. The people-pleasing trap, why it destroys your respect. Serena spent so many years tiptoeing around others, afraid to speak up, afraid to rock the boat. Her desire to please everyone around her came from a deep-seated fear of rejection, fear of conflict, and even fear of losing people she cared about. She thought by putting everyone's needs first, she'd earn their love and respect. But in reality, she was slowly losing herself. People-pleasing never commands respect. It's a form of self-sabotage that wears you down, leaving you emotionally drained and resentful. Serena learned this the hard way. The more she tried to appease others, the more she felt like her own needs were invisible. She kept saying yes when she wanted to say no, and it ate away at her sense of self. This constant cycle not only made her feel small but left her unable to build genuine connections with those around her. As Serena shifted her mindset, she realized that she had to prioritize herself. She had to stop apologizing for having boundaries and needs. She started saying no without guilt, practicing the power of standing firm in her decisions. The more she practiced this, the more respect she started to command from others. Radiant Rebels, it's time to stop living for other people's approval. Start respecting your own needs, and watch how quickly the world respects you back. Feminine energy, a magnet for respect. For Serena, tapping into her feminine energy was a game changer. She'd spent so many years thinking that to get respect, she had to act tough or aggressive. But as she began to understand the true power of feminine energy, everything changed. Feminine energy isn't about being passive or weak, it's about embracing your natural strengths. It's rooted in intuition, emotional intelligence, and calm confidence. It's about being present, empathetic, and assertive when necessary, all while maintaining grace. Serena learned that when she embraced these qualities, she wasn't just worthy of respect, she was magnetic. You, too, can use your feminine energy to command respect, whether it's at work, with friends, or in your personal relationships. By being authentic and aligned with your inner strength, you'll find that respect follows you without you having to chase it. High-value women know the secret. True feminine power lies in understanding and owning the full range of your emotions and energy. When you tap into that, respect is inevitable. Living with integrity, the ultimate path to commanding respect. Serena's respect didn't come from being perfect, it came from being true to herself. She realized that integrity was the foundation of everything. When your actions align with your values, you can't help but command respect. Serena started showing up consistently as the person she wanted to be, even if that meant facing uncomfortable situations. Living with integrity is about treating others the way you expect to be treated. It's about being authentic, reliable, and trustworthy. Serena practiced this every day, and over time, it helped her build a reputation of someone who could be counted on, not just for others, but for herself. For high-value women, integrity is the ultimate currency. When you stay true to yourself and your values, others will respect you for it. And as you begin to build that reputation, you'll notice that respect isn't something you have to force, it's naturally attracted to you. The power of self-respect. Before Serena could command respect from others, she had to develop self-respect. She had to stop seeking validation from external sources and start valuing herself from the inside out. It was a hard lesson, but Serena finally realized that when you respect yourself, others can't help but do the same. Self-respect is foundational. It begins with how you talk to yourself, how you treat your body, and how you show up for your own well-being. High-value women make self-respect a priority every day. They invest time in nurturing their minds, bodies, and spirits. And when you do this, your energy shifts. People pick up on that, and it commands their respect. Radiant rebels, start with the small things. Be kind to yourself. Honor your needs. When you begin to practice self-respect, everything else falls into place. Respect in relationships, how high-value women navigate their social circles. Serena had always struggled with maintaining healthy boundaries in her relationships. But as she began to embrace her worth, she realized that she had the power to navigate her social circles in a way that commanded respect. High-value women don't just set boundaries, they communicate them clearly and without hesitation. Serena learned to show up as someone who respected herself and expected the same in return. Whether it was in her family relationships, with friends, or romantic partners, she became clear about what she would and wouldn't tolerate. You, too, can start building relationships that honor your worth. High-value women prioritize mutual respect in every connection. They know when to walk away from toxic relationships and when to invest in those that nurture and elevate them. If this video helped you understand how to command respect as a high-value woman, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.